Welcome back to another deep dive. It is Monday, February 9th, 2026.
It is.
And if you've glanced at your phone this morning, you've probably seen it. Just a rather depressing wall of gray icons for the whole week ahead. You're left wondering, do I need an umbrella, a heavy coat, or, given some of these flood alerts, maybe a boat?
Honestly, depending on your postcode, you might need all three in the next 48 hours.
It really looks that way. So today we're digging into the immediate, high-stakes weather unfolding over the UK for tomorrow, Tuesday the 10th, and the rest of this week.
Right.
Now, to the untrained eye, tomorrow just looks like another rainy Tuesday. But I've been reading the Met Office discussion you sent over, and there is a massive atmospheric struggle happening right above us. This isn't just rain, is it?
No, not at all. It's a battlefield. What we're seeing for Tuesday is a classic high-energy blocked winter pattern.
A blocked pattern.
Yeah. And our mission today is really to decode the science behind those gray skies. We need to explain, who's getting wet versus who's getting cold. And we really need to talk about hydrosaturation.
That term really stood out to me, hydrosaturation. It sounds almost medical and not in a good way.
It's not.
And we'll get to that. Plus, I saw a very loud rumor in the models about a potential Valentine's Day blizzard. We need to figure out if we're debunking that or preparing for it.
Well, the end of the week looks drastically different from the beginning, that's for sure. It's like 2 different seasons packed into 5 days.
Okay, let's start with the immediate situation. You called it a battleground. Who exactly are the combatants here?
So the synoptic configuration, the big picture, is a standoff between 2 atmospheric giants.
Okay.
To our southwest, out in the Atlantic, you've got this complex low-pressure system. Think of it like a giant pump, just churning away, pushing all this mild, moist air towards the UK.
Right, so that's the engine for the rain. That's pretty standard for us.
It is. But normally, that system would just drift across us and move on. This time it can't.
Why not?
It's running into a barrier, a huge, semi-permanent blocking high-pressure system that's just anchored right over Scandinavia.
The famous Scandinavian block, we hear that term a lot. What is it actually doing?
Well, think of high pressure as a mountain of air. It's dense, it's heavy, it's physically in the way, so the Atlantic low is trying to push in, but it just hits this invisible wall of cold, dense air.
So, what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object?
The weather fronts stall. They just slam on the brakes. So instead of sweeping through, they just sit there, pivoting over the same spots, dumping rain for 12, 18, sometimes 24 hours.
And that's happening because of the jet stream.
Exactly. The jet stream has, well, the technical term is bifurcated.
Bifurcated. So it's split in two.
Yes, precisely. It's split, and it's also way further south than it should be for February. And interestingly, the reason for that seems to be those really anomalous cold plunges we saw over North America last week.
Wait, really? How does a freeze in Canada give us more rain in Manchester?
It's a teleconnection.
Yeah.
All that cold air pouring off North America hits the warm Atlantic, and it supercharges the storm track. It fires it like a cannon right at the UK.
But it gets stuck when it arrives.
It slams into the block, and we're caught in the middle. The UK becomes this buffer zone, just absorbing all that energy and moisture.
Let's talk about what that means on the ground for tomorrow, Tuesday. Because of this battle, we have a really stark north-south divide in the temperatures.
It's a tale of 2 completely different air masses. If you're in the southern counties, you're in that mild, damp air from the southwest. We're looking at double-digit temperatures.
10 to 12 degrees, I saw, which sounds pleasant for February.
It sounds it, but it won't feel it.
Ah.
The humidity is near 100%, and you've got this biting southeasterly wind coming in. It's going to be a damp, clammy sort of mildness.
The worst kind of weather, the kind that gets in your bones.
Exactly. And then in the north.
A completely different story.
Totally different. They're under the influence of that Scandinavian air. It is a raw, penetrating cold. And the danger there is that when the rain from the south hits this cold air over high ground, well, physics takes over.
You mean snow?
Hill snow, for sure. As that moisture is forced up and over the cold air, it cools rapidly. So while it's raining in, say, Birmingham, it could well be sleeting or snowing on the peaks of the Pennines.
And the wind isn't helping anyone either, is it?
No. The pressure gradient between these 2 systems is very tight. So we're looking at gusty winds everywhere. 30 to 40 miles per hour, maybe even 50 on some western coasts.
I did see a specific hazard note for the south coast.
Yes, those southeasterly winds are whipping up some really large waves. If you're walking along a promenade in Brighton or Eastbourne tomorrow, You need to be really careful. We could see some overtopping of the seawalls.
Okay, let's get granular. People need to know what to expect. London and the southeast, what are we looking at for tomorrow?
London gets that damp, cold feel we mentioned. It'll be overcast all day. A high of around 11 degrees, but the low tonight only drops to about 8, so no ice.
But it will be wet.
Persistent is the word. Not a torrential downpour, but that constant nagging light rain and drizzle. Maybe 3 to 10 millimeters all day.
Enough to make the commute miserable.
That's it. A grim gray day for the capital.
Right. Let's move up to the Midlands and over to Wales. This looks like a much higher risk zone on the charts.
It is. Birmingham is right in the firing line. It'll start dull, but that rain turns heavy by late morning. Expect maybe 5 to 15 millimeters there.
In Cardiff and South Wales, I'm seeing some really high numbers there.
Yes. For South Wales, we're seeing something called orographic enhancement.
Okay, break that down for us. What does that mean?
It's essentially the mountains squeezing the sponge. The winds force all that moist air up the side of the Cambrian Mountains. The air rises, it cools, and it has to dump its water load.
Some more rain.
A lot more. While London gets drizzle, some exposed spots in Wales could see up to 30 millimeters of rain.
Wow, that's over an inch of rain on already soaked ground. Now, up to northern England, Manchester, Liverpool, Leeds.
This is the convergence zone. This is where the two air masses are really meeting. So for Manchester and Liverpool, it's cool, it's breezy, high of about 9 degrees, lots of showers.
And further east, Leeds and Sheffield.
They're going to feel that raw easterly wind much more. It's coming straight off the North Sea.
Yeah.
Leeds will really struggle to feel warm at all.
What about travel? Anyone driving the M62 over the Pennines?
A definite hazard warning there. You've got all that moisture hitting cold air at altitude. Hill fog is going to be a major problem. Visibility could drop very, very quickly.
Right. Now we have to talk about Scotland. The east of Scotland specifically. There is a bright yellow warning flashing on the map there.
This is the area of highest concern for Tuesday, no question. We have a yellow warning for rain covering Aberdeen, Dundee, Angus, and Perth.
Why there? Usually it's the west of Scotland that gets the battering.
It's that battleground effect again. The moisture is wrapping around the low and slamming directly into the cold air sitting over the Grampians. We're expecting 15 to 30 millimeters of rain widely.
And on high ground.
Up to 60 millimeters.
60. Blimey, that's nearly 2.5 inches.
In a single day. And the danger is that it's falling on ground that is either frozen solid or completely saturated. It has absolutely nowhere to go.
And there's a snow risk on top of that.
There is. As the freezing level drops tomorrow evening, that rain will turn to snow on the highest routes, the A9, the A93. Driving conditions could go from just wet to completely impassable in a very short space of time.
So for Eastern Scotland, this is a check your travel plans kind of day?
This is a maybe don't travel at all kind of day. The risk is very real.
And this brings us back to that term you used, hydrosaturation. I mean, the ground must just be full.
It's beyond full. The soil moisture deficit across most of the UK is near zero. To put it in perspective, some parts of Devon and Cornwall have now had rain for 40 consecutive days.
40 days? That's incredible.
It means the landscape has zero capacity left. It's like pouring water onto a soaking wet sponge. It just runs straight off.
So the time between rain starting and flood starting is zero?
Pretty much. The Environment Agency already has about 98 flood warnings active, that's flooding expected, and over 170 alerts. But it's not just the rivers.
What else is happening?
We're seeing groundwater flooding, especially in the south. Dorset, Wiltshire. The chunk aquifers beneath them are at historic highs. This isn't river water. This is water seeping up from below into cellars through foundations.
And you can't sandbag against that.
You can't. And it takes weeks to recede. It's a slow-motion disaster.
And there was one other term in the report, tide locking.
Yes, a specific risk for the south coast tomorrow. You've got high tides combined with strong onshore winds. This pushes the sea level up, and it effectively blocks the rivers from draining out.
So the river water just backs up inland.
It backs up, yes. Yeah. Causing flooding upstream, even if the rain isn't that heavy right there. It catches people out.
It just reinforces that message we hear all the time. Turn around, don't drown.
It's a cliche for a reason. 30 centimeters of moving water is enough to float your car. If you see a flooded road tomorrow, just don't even think about it.
Okay, so Tuesday is a write-off. But what about the end of the week? You mentioned a plot twist for Friday the 13th.
Yes, this is where it all changes. By Friday, that big Atlantic low finally gives up the fight and starts to track south towards France.
The block wins.
The block wins. It expands and starts to pull that reservoir of cold air from Scandinavia right across the entire UK. It's what we call an Arctic incursion.
So we go from wet and clammy to properly freezing cold.
And very quickly, temperatures will fall sharply on Friday. Rain will start turning to sleet and snow, first in the north, then spreading south.
And this is what sets the stage for the Valentine's Day weekend.
This is the potential for the Valentine's Day blizzard, yes. Now, models can still change, but the signal is unusually strong. On Saturday, a new moisture-laden front tries to push in, but this time it hits that established Arctic air. A band of snow sweeping right across the country, from Northern Ireland through the Midlands and into southern England. And we're not just talking about hill snow here.
So snow in cities. And after the snow,
Deep cold. By Sunday the 15th, we're looking at widespread frost, hard ice, and temperatures dropping to -5 Celsius in some rural spots.
that is a massive whiplash. From +12 on Tuesday to -5 by Sunday, that's a 17-degree swing.
It is, and it's worth putting this in context. Northern Ireland just had its wettest January in 149 years.
149. Wow.
What we're seeing, this intense wetness followed by these extreme, sharp cold snaps. It's entirely consistent with what climate projections have been telling us to expect.
So to boil it all down, what's the immediate action plan for people listening now?
For tomorrow, Tuesday, it is all about hydrological vigilance. If you're in eastern Scotland, South Wales, or the southwest, monitor river levels. The ground just cannot take any more.
And for the rest of the week?
Prepare for the transition. We're going from a flood crisis to a winter freeze in about 4 days. Check your car battery, check your heating, and maybe find your shovel.
It really is a battleground, and a shift of just 50 miles in that high pressure could be the difference between rain and a foot of snow somewhere.
Exactly. You have to keep checking for updates. The forecast you saw yesterday might be useless by tomorrow morning.
Stay dry tomorrow and get ready to wrap up warm for the weekend. Thanks for listening to this deep dive.
Stay safe out there.